welcome back to the channel. My name is Kechelle, and today we're going to be discussing, or we're going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I love making this video, and I almost didn't make it today because I was a little unprepared. Now that I'm prepared, it's a little late in the day, so hopefully I can still get this video out to you guys today, but we'll see. So the first question is, how is your reading going? And I want to say this. I almost forgot that I read a book that I did not like in January, because the first thing I was going to say was I had 3-star reviews and up all the way up until I read Riley Sager. Girl, that's what I was going to say, okay? I was prepared to give y'all a whole spiel on how I enjoyed every single book I read this year except Riley Sager. But that's not true. I only read one book that was below 3 stars before I read Riley Sager. But other than that, y'all, I've read 36 books so far this year. And only 3, I think, were below 3 stars, as in I just didn't enjoy them at all. And I DNF'd, I think, 4 books, not those. So when I DNF a book, I try not to rate it. I did at first, but then I grew up. Okay. I became more mature and I was like, that's so unfair. I'm not going to rate a book that I DNF'd. So I DNF'd, I think, 4 books. The next question is, what is the best book that you read so far? And the best book I've read so far is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. That book is phenomenal. I loved the way that Tiffany D. Jackson wrote both characters, Claudia and Monday, who is mostly living in the past. I love the scenes in the past. I love Claudia's growth throughout the book, but just to see what happens to both of those girls in this book is heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching, and I've said this so many times. So if you've been here for a minute, if you've been here for a video, you know that I love Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. The next question is, what is the best sequel you've read this year? I haven't read that many sequels. I read Echo by Tracy Clark, and then I also read Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole, and Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole is pretty good, okay? I enjoyed that book a lot. I gave it 5 stars, and I forgot that I did that, but I did do that. And I am excited to read the 3rd book, but my dilemma is like, should I read it now or should I wait till the 4th book come out and then I should binge the 3rd book and the 4th book? Y'all know what I'm saying? What should I do? What should I do? I have a little dilemma there. My favorite reread. Here's the thing. I have not reread any books yet, but I do want to read 2 books. I do want to reread 2 books. Americana by Chimamanda Adichie. I read this book, I think, 2022. And then I also want to reread One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. I do understand that this book is kind of polarizing with DID, dissociative identity disorder. I'm not sure how this translates to people who have been diagnosed or who have not been diagnosed with DID, and I don't want to be insensitive, but I love this book. And first time I read it was last year for Summerween, and I want to reread it again this year. Okay, next it says, genre you've been loving / reading the most. I've read the most mystery and thrillers. Third, right to mystery and thrillers. I've read romance, and I think that is very accurate. I would say that I've enjoyed a lot of mystery and thriller books, and maybe some contemporary fiction. I don't know if Monday's Not Coming and The Deep. I don't know what those are considered. I don't even think, like, my 5 stars, I think, are contemporary fiction. I think. So we'll go with that, like the contemporary fiction type of genre. Next question. What is a new release that you have not read yet, but you want to? Okay, I'm excited about this question. Okay, so a new release that I am reading right now, that's not the question, but follow me, okay? John Scalzi, When the Moon Hits Your Eye. I have it, but I don't have it right here, but I'll put a picture of it. I also want to read Great Black Hope by Rob Franklin, which I talked about in my Juneteenth video. It's about this Black man in, I believe, New York City, who is accused of his best friend's murder. So he is on a journey to prove that he is innocent. The one I want to read is Trigger Warning by Jacinda Townsend. There is the main character, I don't remember her name, Sorry. She has been through incredible trauma. She was born in California. She went through incredible trauma, and then she moved away from California and she lived a life. She raised a child, and then she went through some more trauma, and then she decided to move back to California. And she was like, look, I'm going to face my trauma from early on, heads on, so that I can go ahead and live the rest of my life. So that one comes out on my birthday of this year. A few more are on my list. The Compounds by Aileen Raw. I should really look these names up. And the last one is We Live on the Horizon. I think I've talked about this book a little bit in my 25 for 25 video, so I'll link that if you guys want to check that out. But I do want to read that as well. The next question says, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And I think I've already talked about that. Justin Townsend's Trigger Warning is probably my most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So we'll go past that. What is your biggest surprise of the year? I'm going to say Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I always want to put an R in his name, and there ain't no R in his name. Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby, only because I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. I thought it was going to be something that I just read like to pass the time, but I really enjoyed it. So the next question is, what is your biggest disappointment of the year so far? The majority of the books, like I told y'all before, okay, so like I told y'all earlier when we first started this video, most of the books I read this year have been 3 stars and above. My biggest disappointment was, one of them was, this is the biggest one. This is the big, Cindered Glass by Shalon Johnson. I DNF'd that one, okay? Cindered Glass was absolutely terrible. It was like, so this was my first encounter with fae, or with fairies in a book, and I was so excited. I wanted to know like what the hype was around fairies, girl. What's up with the fairies? Because I'm thinking about fairies like from Peter Pan. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm thinking about. But these fairies got y'all going crazy on Book Talk and on Bookstagram and on BookTube. So I'm like, y'all can't be going crazy over Peter Pan fairies. That can't be the thing. So I was excited about it because I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get a taste of what people talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's a romance. Girl, I DNF'd it because it just seemed like it was just wasn't my vibe, and we'll leave it like that. We'll leave it at that. Next it says, who's your favorite new author? I don't know if I have a favorite new author. I'm actually gonna put up a screenshot of the authors that I've read the most from this year, because I'm doing a whole video about Riley Sager that hopefully you guys will get to see soon. I've read the most books by Riley Sager this year, and I haven't even finished the last one. I think the next one might be Tracy Clark. I don't know how to answer that question, but I am looking forward to reading more from Tiffany D. Jackson, River Solomon, and A.G. Riddle. So Tiffany D. Jackson wrote Monday's Not Coming. She also wrote The Weight of Blood, which I DNF'd. River Solomon wrote The Deep and Model Home. I haven't talked on this channel about Model Home yet, but it will come. But I did talk about The Deep in one of my last vlogs, and I enjoyed it. So looking forward to reading more from River Solomon. And A.G. Riddle wrote a book called Winter World, which I read in my seasons vlog, and I'm on the fence about continuing that series, but I think I'm going to. Next it says, what's your newest fictional crush? I don't have that many fictional crushes because I haven't read that many romances. Does that matter? Anyway, my newest fictional crush is Adrian in Second Tides to Charm. The male main character in this book, he's just so nice. He's charming, he's attentive, he is just so sweet and soft for her, and she is just not giving an inch. He's just the dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's handsome, he is career driven, he's passionate, and he loves his girl. You know what I'm saying? I can get behind that. Next, it says, who is your newest favorite character? I had to think about this one because I didn't really have one. Not in the last 6 months. I can't really think about any new character that I enjoyed that much. I always like Harriet Foster from the series, the Tracy Clark series. Love that. What is a book that made you cry? Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. If I haven't said it enough, I'll say it again. What happens to both of these girls in Monday's Not Coming is just heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, and I cried. I cried. What is a book that makes you happy? Sweet Like Sundays by Danielle Brooks. Sweet Like Sundays by Danielle Brooks is a feel-good moment. It's a feel-good romance. The third act conflict, I don't really remember it, but I think it was something that had been lingering in the background. I love a third act conflict that is not just like pop up on you. Like something that had been going on for the whole book and it explodes in the third act. I can get with it. And I think Sweet Like Sundays did that. The next one is the most beautiful book you have bought so far this year or received. Okay, let me show y'all. So y'all know I don't buy books like that. I go to the library, I read on Kindle Unlimited. I don't be buying books like that, y'all. But this book right here, this book right here, it's so cute. Moon Witch Spider King by Marlon James. I bought this in DC and I was like, oh my God, it's so cute. I'm gonna get right into it. Girl, ain't wrong, no. This is book 2 in a series. And so I can't jump right into this, but it's a beautiful cover. It's a beautiful cover. Y'all see that? The next question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have to read Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler, and Beloved by Toni Morrison. I have to read those books by the end of the year because, like, who am I? What is my channel if I don't? The next question is my favorite video or post I've done so far this year. Okay, my favorite video is probably my 25 for 25 because there are so many different books in that video that I really want to get to, and I don't know if I will, but it shows so many of my interests and so many things that I just want to read this year, and I was excited about that one. Another one that I really enjoyed was Making the Seasons vlog. The vlog where I read through all of the seasons. I really did enjoy that one, even though it was a little bit of a fail. It was a little bit of a fail, but I liked it. The next one and the last question is, who are my favorite book community members? And I have some of the same favorites that I had from last year. Shelby from Shelby in the Book Club, Capri from Capri's Book Islands. Isn't her channel name? But I love Capri. I love Capri and Shelby down, baby. I want Allison Pages to come back to BookTube, but only if she is healthy enough to do so. But there's a few that I've gotten into this year that are a little bit newer, I guess. Alicia Reads a Lot on Instagram and Book Threads. I'm not on TikTok like that. Y'all, should I be on TikTok? Should I get on TikTok? I think she's on TikTok, but Alicia Reads a Lot, as well as Kalila D here on YouTube. Oh, and Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy is a good time. But yeah, those are mine that are a little bit new and also just like old school. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back in the next one. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.